Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream, November 16th. This is where we bring you those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential, companies that are going after massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunities at a key inflection point with multiple catalysts in place to ignite that massive increase in shareholder value. Look, anybody watching this program, you guys have seen this over the last couple of years. We've had multiple, we could say 9.5 stocks that have increased between 10x and 50x. ARWY, I don't know if we could say it, but ARWY, the NexTech spinoff, is up 10x in 10 days, or 9x in 10 days, whatever. But the main event today is going to be, we're going to find out what's happening with NexTech.
Wait a minute, Jack. Did you just literally brushed over this whole concept that NexTech spun out a company that went up 10x?
No, I just mentioned it.
You just kind of like brushed.
Look, it's no big.
Like, oh, it's like interesting.
No, I'll tell you what. Because I think in the context of NexTech, it's not as well. It could be, but in the context,
how many companies do you cover? How many companies have you ever seen that are double 10xers? Meaning NexTech.
Exactly. Actually, yeah.
It spins out a company and it goes up 10x and 10. I mean, it's unheard of.
That's true. Actually, that's actually. You know what? Actually, Evan, this is again. It's
a moment.
That actually is. Yeah, that could be.
I don't think we've had this live stream since ARWY went public. Like, we put out press releases and stuff, but you and I have never had an opportunity to chat. I think you've been traveling around the world. I know you're like a trillionaire now. So.
They're putting $1 trillion in value. I'm not even there.
Yeah.
No, actually, we have not had a chance to talk about ARWY since I think you were spinning it. Right. I think it was like in 4 weeks. It was the last one.
We've talked about that we were going to spin it out.
Right.
We've talked about that many times, and we've talked about the potential, but the fact that it's now happened, and the fact that our shareholders have experienced 10x, that we've created over $50 million in value for the NexTech shareholders, and the stock of NexTech. There was a lot of banter. I was getting emails, people saying, "Hey, is NexTech going to go down if once you spin out ARWY?"
Right. There were people saying, "Oh yeah, there's going to be like some sort of like a dividend thing, one of those dividend phenomena."
Yeah. Everybody was scared. Everybody was telling me don't do it. I'm serious. There was a lot of emails from investors saying don't do it, and NexTech's going to go down if ARWY goes up, and none of it happened the way that the investors envisioned, at least the ones that were sending me these emails. And so all I'm saying, Jack, is that the plan, my plan that I have for NexTech, the company that I founded back in 2018, is playing out. And the investors that believe in this plan, and it's not simple, it's complicated. It is. But if you follow the results, and that's the key, there's a lot of noise out there, but the results, they're undeniable. ARWY has gone up 10x in 10 days. I think that's a testament to the fact that we put together a high quality spin out, and the value is being set by the market. And, it represents $26 million to NexTech's balance sheet, and it represents $26 million to the investors, that invested in. So don't be surprised, Jack, if we do another spin out and the same thing or something else even more extraordinary happens in 2023, because I like to follow success, right? And if the market's telling me that this is a pathway to success for investors, for increasing shareholder value. I mean, if ARWY went down to 10 cents from 25 cents, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? So I'm just saying that there's a lot of complex thinking, a lot of strategic planning, an enormous amount of effort going on at NexTech to create shareholder value. And ARWay is really just one thing that I'm pointing to today for our shareholders to kind of rally around. But NexTech, we still have probably another 3 ARways locked inside
Oh, really?
of
Okay.
NexTech.
Yeah, Evan, I gotta apologize. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. I was a little bit rusty. I've been accused of, over promotion, of hype, and I'm sorry. Actually, I forgot. I haven't done any hype here. I've completely brushed over. Actually, when you think about it, again, and this is true, there is no. I'm not aware of any stock, in I don't know 25 years on Wall Street. I've never seen the stocks, which was a 10 bagger, which is a 10 bagger, more than 20, spin out another company that in 10 days becomes that spin out 10x's in 10 days.
Yeah.
Was it 9? I've never actually this would put you in the record books officially in the one of the legendary stocks. But the crazy thing is, very few people. The beauty of this is we haven't scratched the surface of the market. A lot of times I get worried if I see a stock where oh my God, everybody's talking about it and it's all hyped up on all the message boards. You see there's thousands. That means to me that, okay, it's all baked in, and that
Right.
Here, the stock, it's incredible. NexTech has outperformed the market, the Nasdaq, by, 4. I don't know if it's a 4 to 1, whatever the ratio is. For the year, right?
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
And spinning out winners. Nobody else. I mean, this is unheard of. This is like basically what's happening right now is what was happening, with stocks that was 2 years ago, whatever. How many stocks are up 10x in or even 2x or 3x in the last couple? No, I can't think of any.
I don't think there's any other. We have to be the top performing IPO. We have to be. There's nobody else that I think.
But here's the crazy thing. The beauty of this is that very few people still know about the story. And even though we've been doing this, since, I don't know, 2019, or since the first election.
Yeah.
I think it was 2019, right?
Yeah.
You're still, it's not like you have 50,000 people talking about it on message boards. I mean, I do see on Yahoo,
Yeah.
But it's not it's not one of these cults. It's not like an AMC or one of these.
Tesla.
Yeah, it's not a meme stock yet. So, but to me, it tells me there is so much more upside to go. And by the way, brings me to the point. Look, I'm a fan of the charts. The first thing I look at are the charts, because the charts kind of tell you the future in advance. And what we're seeing right now is, we had a big breakout. I've been talking about this. Okay, the stock is breaking out the 50 to 200 moving average. And if you look at the charts, every time NexTech has done that, it's done it twice before. The stock went up 5x, 10x, whatever the number is. It basically was a multi-bagger every time, and it's happening now. But right now, I just looked at the chart, and it's the golden cross. This is the legendary thing, the golden cross right now, where this is only the second time that NexTech is doing this gold, where the 50 crosses above the 200-day moving average.
That's right, Jack.
And the last time it happened was when? May of 2020.
So
and we know what happened then. The stock 10 bagger.
Yeah. So the golden cross, it's important for our viewers to understand. There's two major technical indicators that are globally recognized, and it's not NexTech, golden cross. If you read any of the books about it. So the key is this: when you look at the market, you're either in a bull market or a bear market. And why is that important? It's like the wind's at your back, and stocks are generally going up, or the wind's in your face and stocks in general going down. That's the bear market, right? Okay. So the stock market, bull, bear. In a bull market, you have the golden cross. 100% of the time, the 50-day and the 200-day have crossed to the upside for a bull market to exist. I'm talking about the stock market as a whole, right? Now, a bear market is the death cross. The market went through the death cross this year. The market did, and we've all seen what happened. And it went through the golden cross back in 2018. and we saw, this massive run.
You know, the stuff, the NASDAQ, the overall market.
The overall market. And so all I'm getting at is that there's things happening that are way beyond NexTech. This is not like a NexTech thing, but on a low, so it's kind of like macro and then micro. Yeah. So on a macro level, the stock market still has not gone through this golden cross.
This is I think the thing that
it's still in a death cross, right? So that's what I'm getting at is that NexTech, in theory, is in its own bull market right now. That's all. I just wanted to point that out. If we're following the textbooks, I mean, whatever that is.
Yeah, and so this is. I mean, I've mentioned this on Twitter a couple times because I think it's people don't appreciate the fact that if you look at all the tech stocks, NASDAQ is down. Most tech stocks are down 75 to 90% on the year. NexTech is up on the year.
Small cap tech stocks. Yeah, the small cap.
I'm not ARK, Kathy Woods, everything.
I think it's probably the market's rallied a bit. I know you were on vacation, but when you were away, Jack, the market rallied. So most of the big tech stocks are down anywhere from 20 to 50%.
Okay, I'm talking about the mean, the stuff that was hot.
But there's no question NexTech's outperforming, and I think it's important to just lay that out there, but then go into the why. So there's more. But wait, there's more. Because look, here's the thing: it's not the fact. Who cares about the that doesn't matter. What it tells you is this. Here's why it's important. Because imagine if NexTech is outperforming, it has this much momentum within a horrendous bear market. What's going to happen when the market levels out, when it neutralizes? Then because right now there's a hurricane wind coming at NexTech, and still it's like going up against the stream like the salmon going up. It's unstoppable. The stock is like relentless in the face of a massive bear market, which has taken down so many stocks. I mean, we see what's going on, right? Yeah. So imagine what happens when the market, neutralizes. NexTech. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think there's a couple things happening, which is why we're doing the live show. I want to talk to you about what's going to happen in 2023. I want to go through with you right now some of the catalysts, some of the things in the pipeline for 2023, because what the charts are telling us is that something explosive is about to happen. The charts are telling us that something explosive is about to happen because we've seen historically when this happened. It was a multi-bagger. So that's what we want to get into today. We're going to get some audience questions and all that stuff. Yeah. So let's connect the dots for our investors, right? So let's look at the foundation that we've laid out there. So let's talk about ARWY. Number one, NexTech still is the largest shareholder. We own 13 million shares. We think ARWY is literally just getting started. So this 10x, I mean, it's just really a talking point. It's really we're in the middle of multiple pilot programs with very substantial airports. We're going to be mapping 4 airports. That goes well. It could expand to 700 airports. We're talking to extremely large hospital groups that have 30 different hospitals. And so, it's EP2. Yes, that's true.
EP2.
Yeah, it's the new symbol. It's because of the QSIP, but let's not get distracted. Okay. So we have hospitals. We're doing a test in one hospital. It'll be rolled out to 30 hospitals after the test. On and on and on. So that is just getting started now in Q4, and we're going to start to see the fruits of those pilots in 2023. And I just want to point out to our investors, if you remember me coming on this show in the beginning of 2022, what did I say? I said we're in pilots with 3D, with e-com, 3D models for e-com. We're signing up big names, but they're testing the waters. That all was the first 6 months of 2022. And everybody, was kind of listening, but I don't know if you fully.
People listen. It was like watch and see it. The market was basically
everyone was kind of waiting. Right?
Yeah, but the bottom line is everything you've said. In other words, number one, the 3D with the NexTech business, the Amazon, all the stuff is happening.
Well,
And
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, Jack, is that we're about to release our Q3 numbers tomorrow. We've pre-released that we saw our 3D modeling business grow sequentially by 170%. That's triple-digit growth versus
sequential. This is, by the way,
Q2 to Q3.
Evan, we gotta emphasize. We gotta emphasize people.
No, but that's not. But I'm literally just connecting dots. Like we've talked about this stuff. So it's not about one thing. So you have catalyst after catalyst after catalyst after catalyst. That's all lining up. And so what I'm pointing to is that ARWY is a catalyst for NexTech, meaning we own 13 million shares. ARWY is doing pilots. Once those pilots turn into actual business, the stock is going to react. Typically, that's what happens. That means our stake is going to go up. And that is very, very bullish and positive for NexTech. Now, that's just the sideshow.
That's just one catalyst. That's
just the sideshow. Yeah. There's another show that's about to begin, and that's Toggle 3D. We've talked about Toggle 3D a number of times. I do not believe that it's getting the valuation that it deserves. I don't believe our investors are sophisticated enough. Honestly, it's not even you guys. It's complicated technology. They're using physics to create this platform. They're using AI to create this platform. And it's a suite of tools for the creation of 3D assets. It basically uses CAD files and converts them into these lighter weight files that you can then change the color and the texture. And we, NexTech, are using that technology to create models now for Amazon and others, where before it used to take us hours, and using Toggle 3D, it's minutes. I mean, I was just talking with my team this morning, and we're quoting on like 500 rugs, and I was like, okay, how long is it going to take to make the 500 rugs? A day or two? And they're like, maybe an hour or two. Now, I want you to put this into perspective. 500 rugs, if we went outside of our Toggle 3D platform and we were modeling it the way, the old way, that would take us probably, at least a week. Now we're talking an hour or two. Think of the scale, right? We're just getting started. So that's Toggle 3D, which is going to compete with Adobe, and we think that we're going to win in that competition. And if you look at Adobe, it's worth tens of billions of dollars. So that's another catalyst that is not baked in to the NexTech stock. In my opinion, I don't believe it's baked in, primarily because the revenue hasn't showed up. Also, Map Dynamics. Everyone has heard of Map Dynamics. It's a mapping software. We've massively upgraded that software so that we can now have ticketing, booth sales, on and on and on. And we've brought in a new CEO, Malia, which everyone should look up. She's now CEO of Map Dynamics. She comes from the association space, and she's had a lot of success. And even more importantly, she's very connected within that industry. And so now she's rolling it out and tapping her connections. We're hiring new hires. And that platform in 2023 is set for some dramatic growth, meaning triple-digit growth. So 1 million could turn into 2, 3, 5, 10. I mean, there's no real knowing. And then we're integrating ARWY into that mapping software so that we're going to be bringing wayfinding to the events industry. Nobody's done this before. You're talking about, again, blue sky opportunity, multi-billion-dollar upside. Again, that's Map Dynamics. That's not even the core business. So today, what is everybody investing in? My belief is that everyone's investing in our 3D modeling business. It's the most mature of our businesses, and it is exciting times. Why is it exciting times? As everyone knows, we are a preferred 3D model supplier for Amazon. You go to our website, it now says it on our website. They love us. That's all I can say. Okay, and so we're going to continue to build our relationship with Amazon. But even though Amazon is like the blue whale in the ocean, there's no bigger fish. What's going to happen when we land Target and Walmart? That's actually not out of the realm of possibilities. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's a high probability. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. There's no guarantees, and that's not what I'm saying.
Well, you
I'm
already have the
saying,
main leader. Look,
I,
it's like
I'm
in the
saying,
space.
what I'm saying
Amazon
here's what
is
I'm saying.
power.
What I'm saying is, when Amazon's at the table asking for 3D models, Target and Walmart are in the waiting room.
Oh,
That's what
that is
that's
powerful.
what I'm saying. Okay, and we
Yeah.
are in an elite group of companies. There's a handful that can produce 3D models at scale. I'm telling you guys, I know because the little guys want me to acquire them. Okay, so there's nobody out there that can compete when our AI starts to kick in, which is happening now. That's why we put out, this news where we're going to be able to create 3D models using our AI at scale. The rugs are only the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be able to do couches and chairs and all kinds of furniture and furnishings. And all of that is going to lead to what I'm seeing in 2023, which is rapid growth in our business. Our revenue is going to grow quite rapidly. And the only time that happened before for NexTech was during the pandemic, when we had the e-com business and we had the virtual event business.
And wait, Evan, let me insert. And also the charts that Golden Cross happened right before.
That's what I'm saying.
So
That's what
this
I'm saying. Is
it's
that
happening.
history seems to be repeating, except the difference this time, and there is a big
Huge
difference,
difference. Yeah.
is that one event was a 1 in 100 year pandemic driven, event, which we capitalized on. This event is a mega trend. AI
A
is
permanent shift. It's really, yeah, it's a permanent shift.
Yeah, it's a permanent chip. And so AI and 3D models, they're the standard. And everything, we've said this many times, everything that's ever been made, everything that's being made today, everything that's being made tomorrow, they're all going to need a digital twin, a 3D model. You're talking hundreds of millions of products, and nobody today is able to feed that demand. We are positioned to be that company that can feed that demand with our AI. That's the key piece to this puzzle. And, we've never been this focused. And then when you add these other catalysts, Jack, the ARWY, the map dynamics, the toggle 3D, it starts to become, one of these. From my standpoint, I've never slept this well. Let's put it that way. I've never slept this well where I feel so confident. In fact, it's when I say sleep well, I'm getting up now before the sun rises because I'm so energized. Like I'm sleeping well, but at the same time, I have so much energy now from all this excitement of all these businesses that are rising up that I'm getting up, early. It's like my whole energy level. It's like unbelievable. So it's an exciting time. That's what it is, Jack. It's just an exciting time.
Yeah. So kind of what I want to talk about when I start off was really, I think there's been a lot of excitement about, what originally we were calling, remember, I think a couple of years back I called NEXCF the unicorn farm, right? The unicorn farm, because there was a lot of assets, tech assets in NexTech, which had that unicorn potential, which could be spun out. And now it's happening. It's actually happening right now. But I think, really though, I think those unicorns, even though no matter how big ARWay could be and toggle through, which is, they could be phenomenal, maybe even bigger. But I think right now, the chart, something the market's telling us that NexTech is really on the threshold of a massive new move. Whatever that move it is, something big is happening.
Yeah.
Because look, the 3D model business is really, like, people are really, before they thought it was big, but I don't think anybody realizes how big of the thing this is. But the market, the charts are telling us that something big is about to happen. It's
It is. Yeah. But I would even go so far as to communicate to our investors that, I'm getting calls from bankers, I'm getting calls from brokers, and they're basically telling me, you got to go NASDAQ, you got to go NASDAQ. And I'm like, you guys have no idea. I went through, this whole ringer with NASDAQ, right? So I'm only going to say this one time, but at the right time, if it makes sense, I'm not going to deny that NASDAQ is going to drive liquidity, right, in the future. And so, look, if the stock's trading over $5 a share, $10 a share, and we're making lots of money and everything is going right for the company, then NASDAQ is an inevitable place that we will arrive at some time in the future. I'm not putting any time frame or date or anything, but even though we had a tough experience in the past, it's not something that
look, at some point I'm sure it's going to happen, because look, everything you've said you're going to do, it's happening. Some things take a little bit longer. It's just a reality. It may not happen. It may happen later, whatever it is. But it is like, look, you talked about the spinout. The spinout happened. People thought it would happen in July. It happened in November, October. So it's like sometimes things take a little bit longer. And then, but I think at this point in the market, it's not even, I think maybe we should wait till the NASDAQ.
No, I'm just saying I'm getting calls like there's a whole bunch of bankers that want to take us onto the NASDAQ.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting thing we haven't heard yet. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying if you want institutional, sponsorship and increased liquidity, you got to go there. Yeah. ARWay is another potential NASDAQ candidate, for sure. And again, it's just about.
But that's not. But look, that's not the value driver for the stock. I know people were excited about the NASDAQ story.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the value is Toggle 3D, MapD, NexTech, our 3D modeling business, ARWay, another spin out. All of that is the focal point. But I'm just putting it out there because, again, I've gotten like 3 or 4 calls. I don't know if there's a seasonality to it or not.
Yeah, it's bonus season. They want to get
bonus season, but yeah,
they want to get it for a bonus season, right?
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I think we gotta focus, and I want to get into audience questions because we've got a bunch of great questions here. So here's some main things, right? Number one that's happening, which I think is a big story, is a Toggle 3D, which really allows you to scale the model production, which is why you have Amazon coming to you, which is why you have the $7 million deal with Amazon, which is why all these other guys, because again, everybody knows that the e-commerce is shifting to these 3D models, which it's going away from flat images. Okay,
so I was shopping, Jack.
Is the only place.
Jack, not to interrupt, but I was shopping last night for bar stools. And my wife showing me, bar stool A, bar stool B on Amazon. And I literally see the button, see it in your space, click. I'm like, oh my God, that's a NexTech bar stool. We made that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, I just remember when we were going through the list of 3D models for Amazon, I saw these bar stools, and so I was like, it's heartening. It feels good, when you see in Amazon. So as everybody starts to shop, more and more people are going online. Obviously, what I read, Jack, 77% of the North American population shops on Amazon. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's almost, let's just call it 80%. 8 out of 10 people. Enormous.
the market opportunity. Look, all these products, and there's, I don't know, millions and millions of products. How many SKUs are there? I
Hundreds
think
of
there's
millions.
some
There's
crazy number, right?
hundreds of millions.
All these things are going to have to go. There's going to be 3D models made, but also there's also more and more new products coming. So those things have to be 3D models, right? So the opportunity for it's a massive, massive. We've only tapped, not even. I don't think it's not even a tenth of 1%. It's like this tiny part of the market has been touched and already. So I think here's the point I was trying to convey to investors is, look, if you're seeing the stock react right now, we're seeing this massive momentum in the midst of an overall bear market. And this is based on NexTech only just touching a tiny portion of it. Oh, imagine what's going to happen when the company actually starts scaling. And now we're starting to see, this thing I want to, we brushed over this, but this sequential quarter-over-quarter revenue growth. That is, when you have that sequential, when it's quarter-over-quarter, massive, that, this double-digit or triple-digit growth, that is usually the start of, these massive stocks.
Well, Jack, I remember 2020. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years.
And I remember every quarter we were putting up, bigger numbers with the e-com business. I think we had a $3 million quarter. Then it went to like 4.6. Then it went to like 5 something. And then it was like 6. We ended up with something like $20 million in revenue in 2020. I'm predicting that we're going to have another year like that. I'm predicting, though, that that's going to be on the heels of the things we just spoke about. And that's going to sustain, meaning instead of, with the e-com and the events business, by 2021, it was game over. For us, by 2024, it's going to be game turbo. It's going to be like, we're going to have to figure out how to make double the number of models or triple that we made in 2023. The demand is going to just snowball. And so that is the big challenge. Really, it's execution. We've positioned ourselves in front of this mega trend. And now the team needs to execute, and we need to deliver on the revenue. We need to deliver on the growth. And we need to deliver on spinouts. There's a lot of things that we need to deliver on to continue to increase shareholder value. But so far, with the ARWY spinout, I just want to point out, we've created $50 million in additional shareholder value from just one spinout. And it's still only, the first inning. I mean, we're like in the first month of that company being public. So, give it. It took NexTech. To go 10x. Took us, I think, a year. To go 40x took us. It was Q4 to Q4. It took us about 18 months. ARWY's done what took us a year. They've done in 10 days. And who knows where it'll be in a year.
Yeah, so I think probably the people are saying, hey, if we saw that with ARWY, nobody was nobody was expecting it. I really wasn't expecting it. I said, I thought it would do well. I didn't think it would be at 10x. I thought it would do well, and so imagine what the other potential spinouts inside of NexTech, the other baby unicorns, when those unicorns are hatched. I think there's going to be a lot of anticipation, because here's the crazy thing. I think what's going to happen is, I think for the next thing that you spin out, people see how successful the ARWY deal is. That deal, it's almost like, you have this a flywheel effect where the success creates more and more, and also, and so the next spin out could be even more crazy, and that of course flywheels back into NexTech. And so I think there's a setup right now. I think this is what the charts could be telling us, because there's something very exciting that it looks like is building up. It could be this, because there's multiple catalysts, right? There's potentially you got explosive revenue growth. You got the sequence. Because let's go back to the fundamentals of the 3D model business, right? Because I think there's a path. for NexTech to be potentially $5, $10. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but let's go. I just want to go through these numbers. Tell me if this makes sense. So you got Amazon, which is going to do, it's a $7 million deal, right? And we're not even in 23 yet, right? So let's say.
Wait. I want to correct you there for a second. So there's two pieces to the Amazon puzzle. You have corporate Amazon, which they're buying 3D models, but then you have
the vendors,
millions of merchants.
And
we've talked about this previously on your show, but I don't know if people remember that Amazon is going to open their platform, Seller Central, to 3D models. NexTech is a preferred 3D model supplier. What does that mean? It means if you're a merchant and you want to bring 3D models onto the Amazon platform, you come to NexTech as a preferred 3D model supplier, white glove service. We make the model, we get it approved, we load it onto the site, and we collect, ring the register. So that opportunity is 100 times bigger than the Amazon purchase order.
I don't think anybody understands that.
No, I don't think
nobody understands it, because people are thinking, NexTech is just the play of NexTech. It's Amazon, they're going to get Target. No, the play is the millions of e-commerce businesses that need these 3D models now. They're going to basically adopt it because you said that, Amazon is a thing, then Target and Walmart are in the waiting room. These other guys are they're trying to get in. They got they're pressed up against the glass, and they're going to have, I think you mentioned something, I don't know if this, or I heard this somewhere, that Amazon and some of these other big platforms are basically, pushing the vendors to use 3D models.
They are. In fact,
it's all about the metrics.
Yeah. In fact, one of the companies that we supply 3D model, a big box store we supply 3D models to, they told us they're telling their vendors that they must buy 3D models.
Oh, okay.
It's now becoming the standard that they're literally pushing their vendors. I mean, I don't know if they're going to kick them off, their platform, but think of, if you're a vendor and you're, let's just say, selling to Target or Walmart or whatever, and they send out a memo and saying, hey, we want you to start bringing 3D models onto our platform. Well, I mean, that's, to me, go time, meaning if I want to be in their good graces, if I want to continue to get orders from my biggest customers, the Amazons, the Targets, the Walmarts, the Kohl's, I'm going to have to bring 3D models or they're going to cut me off, because my competitors will say, hey, we'll bring the 3D models. Why don't you?
Evan, this is to me is like exactly it's almost like when PayPal became, when eBay started pushing PayPal as a standard. Like they said, okay, if you want to be on eBay, we encourage all the merchants to accept PayPal. So this is back in the early,
when they bought PayPal,
and then all of a sudden people had to use PayPal because they were forced into it,
and they bought it. Yeah, they acquired PayPal, right? That's what they ended up doing.
This is interesting.
Yeah. So my thinking is
you're basically like the PayPal of e-commerce. It's almost like a PayPal. It's almost as essential as PayPal. PayPal was essential for e-commerce.
So I think of it a little different. So if I think about our 3D modeling business, the dream, the vision is really that anybody can come to ARitize 3D. It's just a portal. You drop in your photos or links to your photos. Our AI scans the photos and sends you a quote. This is all autonomous. You approve the quote, you pay. The AI then goes to work to create those 3D models. And here's where it gets really exciting. We ask you, do you want your 3D models loaded on Shopify, Amazon, Target, or Walmart? We're connected to all of them. And you literally point and click, I want my 3D models on Amazon. Boom. We do that. We want it on Target. Boom. We want it on Walmart. Boom. So we literally become the standard for creating 3D models, not just because we can do it, but I mean, I don't want to use the word monopoly, but there does become a time when, if we have
Well,
all these big,
yeah, basically, I mean,
big
not a monopoly, but you're the dominant player. It's like PayPal is
dominant
not a
player,
monopoly, but they're the dominant player
the
in
dominant player, where it's like, okay, it's
payments.
like, how do you compete with Instagram? How do you compete with, I mean, you need a
Yeah.
TikTok, whatever. But the point is that it's very, very hard to go up against these entrenched players. And so we are building
Oh, oh,
this
oh,
moat around us
oh,
where
yes, yes.
we're creating this whole 3D model, AR type 3D model central, where the AI is the king. It's controlled by AI, not by humans. It's all autonomous, and we're just kind of managing it and collecting you know the
It's a total, essentially for anybody, any e-commerce company to go to Web3, to the new thing where everything is going, they have to pass through this. Essentially, they have to go to 3D model. So essentially, NexTech is kind of that toll collector.
Yeah,
It's that
or
magical
you could
condition
go
that
to a
Warren
small
Buffett always
player.
talks about.
Yeah, so the alternative would be, oh, I need one 3D model, or I need two 3D models. I mean,
Yeah,
you might be able to hire somebody out of
this
India
is like this
who'll make
commentary.
that for you, but
Yeah,
the odds are that 3D model will not pass Amazon, Target, or Walmart's strict quality control. And that's the
yeah.
thing that, again, our investors do not
Hold on, Evan,
understand.
I got to bring up this quote. This is this comment here. Do you remember what I think who said this? A computer on every desk. That was the mission of what's his name? Bill Gates. He said a
Yeah,
computer on every desk. This is like
yeah,
in 1978 or something. He said we're gonna have a computer on every desk, and people thought, what the computers? That's for like I don't know, the big it was like crazy talk. And now we're seeing 3D model but this is true. This is like the online. This is going to happen so much faster because this is like the computer thing took 20 years. This is
yeah.
going to happen in could happen in literally this shift. I think maybe this is what the chart is telling us. There could be an exponential, this massive shift, which could happen like in the next 12 months. All of a sudden, people are going to wake up and these 3D models. It's sort of like that's the standard, and
Jack,
next is
I,
that is a
I'm
massive
telling
transition.
you, that right now it's already becoming the standard. It's not like
No,
happening.
it's not you talking. It's the reality.
The
But people
train is
don't realize it. They don't
no,
realize it's
no.
happening
The
under
train
their
has left.
nose. It's
The train
happening.
has left the station, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's another last piece of the puzzle that we're finding out, which is quite interesting and represents huge profitability opportunities for us. So, we have a warehouse now of 3D models that we've created, right? Tens of thousands, and that number is going to grow to hundreds of thousands. Now, I want you to think about this. Does Amazon and Target and Walmart, do they sell a lot of the same products? Of course they do. There's a lot of Me Too product out there. I would say, I don't know if it's 50%, but it's probably 25%. You could price shop, right? You could go and price shop, and that's what people do. Because we create a 3D model for one of these, we own the 3D models, sell it to another customer, and that becomes pure profit for us. So again, being the 800-pound gorilla, being the largest player in the industry, it's not easy to do what we're doing, but the rewards are massive. They're massive. That's why we're doing it. Is that we feel good about doing something transformational. It's super exciting. It's not like flipping hamburgers, which is, if you have a barbecue, that becomes a chore after 100 hamburgers, right? But what we're doing is really transforming an industry, and not just any industry. the $5 trillion e-com industry,
We
which
haven't
is
mentioned it. Yeah.
massive.
It's the
Massive,
biggest
right?
thing.
And so to me, that's like an exciting goal. And I feel like with Toggle 3D, with ARitize 3D, with everything that we've built, the foundational tech, we are on our way to being the biggest player in the 3D modeling business. And I think back to your point when we started about the Golden Cross, is I actually think as many times as I say our investors don't know, I think they do know. I think they are starting to understand and get the message that this is that transformational company. This is that transformational technology. And there is this massive opportunity. And we are just knocking on the door. We're just starting to see this show up in tomorrow's numbers. We're going to start to see it in Q4. It's going to continue, and we see it continuing into 2023 and beyond. So, yeah, I think that's why you see that Golden Cross, Jack.
Oh, the earnings are coming out tomorrow also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is maybe the market's telling us something positive is going to happen tomorrow. Maybe that's what the market is telling us.
Well, we've pre-released it, so
Okay, but maybe now, who knows? But I think the takeaway here is, look, the move to 3D models, the $5 trillion e-commerce industry shifting to 3D product models it's a generational opportunity, and I think this is why this is what kind of the chart is telling us. I mean, like, we saw the big move happen in 2020. It's telling us something could be of that scale, or maybe even bigger, could be in store for 23. So I think that, and so there's a couple things also. So you got the 3D model business, which is set to explode in the next couple of months, over the next couple of months, I should say. But then you also have the potential, which I don't think people, you talk about the potential spinouts of the other unicorns, the baby unicorns like the Toggle 3D, the other stuff. I don't think people even, that's definitely not baked in. I don't think ARWY was baked in. Obviously, ARWY was not baked in because we saw it. I mean, the stock took off. Both stocks have done well. So there's a lot of stuff right now, which I think is a positive, because there's a lot of stuff in NexTech, all the big catalysts. Because I think I've done a video on this before, which is there's two types of catalysts, right? There's the one that everybody knows is going to happen, right? It's already baked in. There's the company announces they're going to do this, and then by the time they do it, the stock drops because buy the rumor, sell the news. The best type of catalyst is when there's doubt. People aren't sure. They don't know. It's like it's very fuzzy, and then when those catalysts do happen, when those milestones are achieved, the stock explodes. And I think NexTech has a whole bunch of those kind of hidden catalysts that people we're talking, but nobody. There's a lot of doubt, which is good. Which I'm very happy to see that there's a lot of doubters, because we need those doubters. Those are going to be the buyers at the higher price levels. I mean, that's because if everybody loved NexTech now, who would be buying it at $5, right? We got to have somebody buy the stock at 5, 10, 20. No, okay, it's an exaggeration a little bit. But
I was thinking about it the other day, Jack. And so right now our stock is like 99% held by retail investors. I think we have one institution, this Hilton Capital Management, that owns 250,000 shares or something.
Paris Hilton?
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and I was looking at some of the other NASDAQ companies, like Vizix, and I don't know, there's a few of these companies that are in the AR 3D kind of space, and they have millions of shares owned by, the Fidelities and the Vanguards.
I see where you're going.
See where I'm going? So right now, if all of our retail investors own the stock, and those funds start to come for the stock, the only way they're going to get any stock is bidding it up, which is what you're speaking to. So it's not really the retail guy in the end. It's more hedge funds, institutions.
They can't. Right? They basically can't.
They're not in
levels because it's under $5. First of all, it's under $5, and there's not enough liquidity for them to buy.
So that's the catalyst that gets the stock to, where
banana mode. Bananas.
Yeah. So that's it. Like the investors that are in now are getting ahead of the tidal
Yeah.
wave of potential buying from these bigger players, just like we got ahead of the tidal wave of the 3D modeling business, and now we have Amazon, we have an enterprise,
One
multi-billion.
more thing, Evan, one more thing also. Look, so here's a couple of other catalysts, right? I'm just going to talk about the stock side, not the business side.
But I just want to finish
Yeah,
one thought. So that's how you make money in small cap stocks, is that there has to be, like you said, somebody has to buy it at a higher price, right? Someone has to ultimately. So if you're getting into these small cap stocks, you know that there's no institutions. You're not competing with an institutional buyer to buy your shares. You're able to buy them at a discount. You're able to buy them every day, 5 days a week. You like there's stock for sale. There's a market. In the future, though, if things go well for the company, and people start to you start to get research reports, analysts start covering you. You start to see funds start to take a position, like Hilton Capital Management just took a 250,000 share position. Those
Kim Kardashian also has a fund.
those those things are the things that ultimately dictate what happens, to these small cap stocks.
Yeah.
Without that, what you get is a lot of the ups and then the downs and then the up and down. It's just very
No, I think
volatile.
no, the big. I think look, I think one of the big catalysts, which we haven't even talked about, which is like out there, which is out there. This is going to be the big thing. Is look, next year. I think when there's two things. The company executes. Okay, you get the contracts. The stock starts moving up. But then when this 3D model, the Web3 theme AR actually becomes a theme, because it's not a theme right now. It's not a theme in the market. But when all of a sudden that becomes institutions start talking about this, analyst says, hey, we got to own this theme because this is good. This is like whatever. It's like, whatever the hot theme is, that is going to be the hot theme. There at that point, it's going to be they're going to have to own it. It's going to be a must own for a lot of these tech, like a Cathy Wood or whatever.
You're not going to believe this, Jack. You're not going to believe this. We might be looked at as an AI company.
AI also, right? This is it. It is.
No, I'm saying like we might not even be looked at as a 3D. Like that's the output.
Okay.
That's what we push out.
Oh, right, but the production.
But the core tech is actually going to be AI. So, I don't know if people look at it as AI or as 3D. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, Evan, I'm going to let you finish your thoughts here.
No. Yeah. So. You want to open it up for questions, Jack?
Yeah, let's get to some questions. Bottom line is there's some amazing things in the pipeline. This is what the charts are kind of telling us. We talked about some of the potential catalysts. I think the AR theme next year, there's going to be something super exciting. Anyway, let's get into audience questions here. Let's start from we get a lot of questions. Hopefully we have time. Okay, we get this question here. Okay. I'm wondering if an uplist on TSX, are you planning to go to TSX?
No. If we uplist, it'll be NASDAQ.
NASDAQ, yeah. Okay. I understand Google Maps is coming out with a platform that allows indoor mapping. How would this affect ARWY?
Well, I think Google Maps already works indoors. You could use their blue dot technology, and it's just not very good. It's still a $20 billion industry, but it's like nobody really likes using it.
It's a different product. They're not really
inferior, yeah. And
when is it? Can you share what our AI program will look like in 3 years?
Will there be competitors on our heels? Do we need more software engineers? Thanks. We're muscling up right now with our AI team. We're hiring more software developers, more team members. It's hard to see us. In 3 years, it'll be quite significant. Could there be competitors? There are already competitors, but right now, we believe we have the lead in 3D models for e-com. there are people that are making 3D models for, Zuckerberg's metaverse, like the gamified 3D models that you see and things like that. But in terms of photorealistic 3D models for e-com, we believe that that's going to be NexTech's domain.
Will NexTech be named in the Amazon press release about 3D models? I think you mentioned there was going to be something like that.
Anything's possible, but I wouldn't count on it. If they mentioned us, they'll probably mention us and a couple of other players. But I will tell you this, we will be on their website once they open up the platform to bring on 3D models. On their website, they've told us that NexTech AR Solutions will be listed as a preferred 3D model supplier. So even better than the press release.
Update on existing patent filings.
Nothing to update. We have a portfolio of patents that we filed, and you just have to. It's the waiting game.
I think you said a couple of applications. Oh, okay. So he's 3D. Okay. Any forward splits? No splits, right? No, we're not doing any forward splits.
Not planning on any. No.
There's no. It's organic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, we do have some investors that have been with us long term, and I think Wesley Webster's birthday must be coming up. So, a happy birthday to Wesley Webster. I think he's out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he's been a long-time supporter of NexTech. Always happy to have long-term investors. That's really what we like.
Happy birthday, Wesley. All right. So NexTech is on Frankfurt as EP2. EP2 now.
Yeah. So Tom, when we changed our QSIP, they changed that symbol. So that's all.
Can we look into an option for shareholders to purchase pre-spinout, to invest in these things when they spin out?
Maybe.
Will the movement of ARWY affect the movement of NexTech?
I believe it will. As mentioned earlier, we own 13 million shares. So imagine you own 13 million shares of a company, and it's sitting in your brokerage account, and it's worth $26 million. Is that going to change your life? Is that going to change your situation? I mean, it's an enormous positive for NexTech. And again, it's not reflected in our share price at all, in my opinion.
Okay. So I think this question came up. He's saying, I think you were talking about one of the things that Toggle 3D make. Yeah, I think you mentioned something with rugs, and that Jay was saying
it can deal with complex CAD files, but it doesn't have to be complex. Any CAD file will work for Toggle 3D. And
is NexTech experimenting with holographic technology?
We are, but it's not our focus.
Okay. This guy. Oh, this is the okay. So this could be the Oracle of 3D models, like, because they own databases, right? Business,
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, the history has not been written yet. Like, we're busy writing it.
And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Look, the reality is, all the great companies. We talk about this. It's look, when you have, again, Evan, I don't want you to, like, your head to get big, but look, when you have like what I call the 100-bagger CEO, it's not the you're not buying the current business. It's where the thing is going to evolve into. It's like if you look at for example, Tesla, people think, oh, it's a car. No, it's not. It's AI. It's the robots.
It's actually very interesting. So
Twitter, it's going to be a platform, mega platform. That's not just a messaging thing.
Yeah, if you look at a guy like Elon,
I've said you're the Elon Musk of microcaps. This is a very good metaphor.
So Elon's got a lot deeper pockets than I do, but he had early success with selling PayPal. And then, obviously he took over Tesla. He's not the founder of Tesla. And then he, turned it into what it is today. But along the way, he has, I think, a solar roof company he acquired from his brother. He's got SpaceX.
Yeah, the
He's got
drilling holes, the boring company. They got
all that. So I want you guys to imagine something. Do you think, first of all, that I don't pay attention to a guy like Elon Musk? Because of course I do, right? You have to pay attention to guys like that. He creates enormous value for shareholders. Now, if you look at the companies he has and he owns, do you think at some point he's going to spin them out, take them public? I think it's inevitable that he took Twitter private, he's going to take it public again. I think it's inevitable that SpaceX is going to go public. Starlink is going to go public. He's going to have all these public companies. It starts to sound familiar, doesn't it? Where NexTech, is going to have potentially a number of public companies, and
the constellation. It's going to be a constellation of stars.
And the reason why
a constellation of unicorns.
So let's be clear about something, though. Again, this is really important. If you think about trajectory, you got to have some perspective, right? Or let's say McDonald's to have multiple spinouts. That industry just isn't set up for that, right? Why would you even consider multiple spinouts? How does that even, why would you even get involved in multiple businesses? The only reason is when you have a transformation happening in technology where there's so many opportunities, it's limitless, it's unlimited. Look at the proliferation of websites. It didn't really explode until after the high-speed internet. You had an internet, but then you had a high-speed internet, and then it just exploded.
And social media, what we're doing now, it's all
everybody has a website. So think of all the websites as new businesses, right? So with NexTech, we needed to go through this. We made 10 acquisitions. A few of them have been transformative. We've been investing for the past 4 years, and now we're starting to reap the dividends. We're starting to reap the rewards of all this hard work and investment over the past 4 years with the 3D modeling business, with ARWY, Toggle 3D, Map Dynamics. I mean, that's really the story here, is that it's not one-dimensional. It's a multi-dimensional story that you have to put on this map where you're thinking about transformational technology. It's not like, there are these moments in time where you can do what we're doing. You can't do this just at any time. It's really when, we're having 5G. Without AI, let's be crystal clear here. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we could not do this. No, this is not possible. Without AI, none of this would be possible. So, the technology is what's allowing us to do this. This moment in time is only possible because of AI. And so I just want to be clear on that this isn't like a normal time in history. Like, again, Elon Musk, the electric car, the EV cars, it's going to be EV planes. There's going to be, robo cars. There's going to be robots in your house. I mean, all these things are only possible because the technology allows it to be possible. And so NexTech's really doing what's possible with AI in this 3D space. That's really.
But also, the other thing is that, the company, I think ultimately it's, somebody who's investing in NexTech for what it is right now, either if they're making the bet, again, like I think I said something like, okay, I missed out on Tesla because I thought the bet was, on the electric car. No, it was the bet on the 100-bagger CEO. That was the bet because that turned into all this other. So I think anybody looking at NexTech right now, the bet is really not the bet. I mean, I hate to say it, it's not really the bet on the 30 mile space. It's the bet on the 100-bagger CEO that's going to do, because there's a lot of other things in there. There's a lot of moving parts, and the company could evolve and transform in so many ways with the market and all these other opportunities that people can't anticipate. That's the thing. The market really can't anticipate what the potential is for the business, because with all these moving parts.
Only the AI knows.
Okay, so let's get audience questions. Would you sell Toggle 3D to Adobe? Because it kind of fits into their wheelhouse a little bit, no?
It totally fits into their wheelhouse, and I
They
would
paid
not.
$40 billion for Figma.
I would not be surprised if they came knocking on our door at some point in the future.
Okay, our share is going to be given for the future. Oh, future Spinout.
100%. Look, I am the largest shareholder now, so I'm always looking out for shareholders. Any spin out we do in the future, you will get a dividend. Look, there's even a possibility if, let's say, ARWY goes to $5 or $10, and NexTech sells some shares, it's or $20 or whatever, and we have this big cash hoard. It's possible we dividend out some cash. Nothing's off the table.
No, I think. Look, I think that's the thing. Which is important for investors to understand, is that your focus. You talk. A lot of CEOs talk about maximizing shareholder value, but you actually do. You actually put you deliver. In other words, you put your money where your mouth is. You're actually delivering. You've done like the ARWY spin as a demonstration, all the stuff, so people see it's actually it's the real deal. You're putting out news flow. You're not like going silent because the market. I think investors know about this, but look, a lot of these micro caps were making a lot of noise, putting out a lot of news when the market was good. All of a sudden, they're quiet now. It's like the birds in the forest, they're chirping. All of a sudden, they stop chirping because they're waiting for them. We're waiting for the market to turn around, and then that's
so Jack. I'm going to explain that for you real quickly, and then I'm not going to talk about that again. Those are rookie CEOs. Those are rookies. They haven't gone through enough bear markets, enough battles, so they freeze.
Right? No, it's very frustrating. It's been very frustrating for me to watch this because a lot of companies we brought onto the platform, they did phenomenally well. We had other 10-baggers, and then a lot of those guys, maybe this is the first bear market or something. Who knows? They just whatever.
It probably is.
Look, there's a difference between winners and champions, and a lot of people can win once. Champions, you talk about like at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those levels. Over and over, consistent, relentless, ongoing forward, not satisfied with one success.
Jack, here's a great example: the Ali Foreman fight. Did you watch the Ali Foreman fight? The Muhammad Ali against George Foreman. George Foreman was the biggest human being on the planet, never defeated. It was impossible for Ali. He's like
right. He's still alive. Yeah, Foreman.
Yeah. Let's say he's like the bear market.
Right.
George Foreman, right?
Because he's a very big. He
was huge. Yeah. So what did Ali do? For the first 7-8 rounds, he covered up and let George Foreman beat on him, right? But he continued to stay in the ring, move around. He exhausted George Foreman and then knocked him out. That's how you go through a bear market. You have to be able to see the other side. You have to have a game plan. You can't, just freeze and, do nothing and get knocked out. You have to have a plan, which Ali did. And in the end, you knock out the bear market. And honestly, I feel like to some degree, we're doing that.
No, right now. No, it's happening right now. This is why we're seeing the stock moving up. I mean, it's an I don't think people realize it's an incredible feat for a stock to go counter so much more. What is it? It's alpha, right? Delivering it's the alpha because the market it's outperforming. It's the alpha that investors are going to start looking at this because the market is down by 70% in this sector, and NexTech is up. It's
Yeah,
like,
you gotta have a plan. I spend essentially all my time strategizing, planning, and that allows me to navigate through the pandemic, through short and distorts, and
I thought
now,
about that already.
yeah, remember all that? And
Yes.
yeah, and now, it seems like there's some light at the end of this bear market, and our business is starting to really take off. And so, it feels like we've navigated to this point and prepared for the past 4 years for this moment, and now we're just going to take full advantage of it, Jack.
Let's go. A couple more questions here. Okay, how's NextTech planning? Are you able to satisfy the demand for 23? Because I know there was an issue before in terms of, are you able to scale
Um, am I able to scale? We are scaling. So, can we satisfy the demand? Let's put it this way. We're going to sleep. We're not going to sleep until we satisfy the demand. We're going to do everything in our power to meet the demand, because we look at this as that moment in history that defines us. And so we're going to do whatever it takes to meet that moment and perform.
Okay, so I think this question is, I think what he's asking is, okay, you're doing this with Amazon. Like, what's the smallest player
So,
that, I mean, like
yeah.
for
So,
e-commerce, like, would you do, like, what's the
yeah.
smallest?
So in 2022, we've been in the beginning of the year, we took on some smaller players. We still service them, but we're going to be, unfortunately or fortunately, pivoting away from doing that business, because the demand from the bigger players is so extreme. So I'm not saying we won't do any. I'm just saying the focus has definitely shifted.
Okay, so basically it's more enterprise. The focus for NextTech is the enterprise who needs stuff at scale. Okay. Um, are you affected by rising interest rates?
Not at all. In fact, we just get a higher rate of interest on our cash reserves, Eric. So it doesn't affect us um, really at all.
Okay. I'm not sure. I think okay. I think he's asking. So the deal with Amazon. This is a deal. It's one contract, or is it an aggregate of multiple
No, that's one contract.
from Amazon, the Amazon company? Direct.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. Interesting question. Why he's asking why spin out valuable, these baby unicorns? Why not leave it in NextTech, increase the value? Nike didn't, Jordan, okay.
Okay. It's a good question.
Well, Amazon didn't spin out AWS. That's actually, maybe they should. That's actually,
Yeah.
people have been saying they should.
Okay. Okay. Let me answer this question for JD, because this is something that people bring up and they just don't understand the reality of being a small cap. All those companies you mentioned are mega cap. They all spend billions of dollars to develop those products. We can't afford. We are built like a big tech company because we have these different businesses. But to continually invest in them until they go cash flow positive is extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. So, unless you guys want me to keep raising money, which I don't think you do, we can't just keep, investing, which is why we spin them out, and then they get to raise money independent of NextTech and build their business.
And it
Makes
doesn't
sense?
dilute. Basically, so
It
NextTech
doesn't
doesn't get.
dilute. It doesn't dilute. Does that make sense to you guys? Where we get to benefit from all of the upside. We don't get any of the dilution. We just get the upside. So that's why we do the spin out. Okay. If we were big tech, if we had, a $500 billion market cap, Meta announced that they were investing, I think, 10 billion into the metaverse. that didn't work out. It seems like they're backtracking on that. For them, it's literally a ding. For a company like NexTech, it would be out of business if it made it, a monster investment and it didn't pay out. So we don't have that luxury. It's just, small cap companies, we're startups. It's just, you got to understand what we are, what you're investing in.
It's a very smart play. Each of these things will raise capital on their own. No, it's great. Okay, question. I'm excited about the news of the AI pad. You said there takes the model of a 3D rug in a few minutes. How long does it make something more complex? Does it take more longer?
It takes a little longer, obviously. The key is time is money, so what we're trying to do is get the AI to make as many couches or rugs as possible per minute. And, that's how we scale in a big way. So it's only a matter of time before the AI can just, churn out 3D models 24/7, 365. And that's when NexTech becomes a significant technology company.
We got a great question coming up here. Should we expect something major in the next 3 months?
I would be very disappointed if we didn't have something major to announce in the next 3 months. I'm always looking for something major.
The educational vertical. It's interesting. So look, NexTech, has a lot of different growth initiatives always, right? Some kind of, go, some like anything else. It's like you're investing in different ideas. Some work. So what's happening? What's going on with the education? I know that was like going.
Yeah.
What's the status on that?
So it really was something we did for Ryerson University during the pandemic. There was a lot of interest in it, but what we found is that all the big boys, meaning the universities, take forever, to make a decision. It's all, budgetary. It's not like you can break into that market without a huge amount of time and investment. So we've put it on ice.
Here's interesting. So this guy, Scuba, says never heard of spinouts until he got, because NexTech itself was a spinout of another stock, which I think was a 10-bagger, which is a Future Farms, like a couple of 5 years ago. He got that, and now he's getting the next generation. It's like he's bought the cow. The cow is giving birth to other cows. The milk. He's getting all this stuff.
Scuba, it's been incredible, right? NexTech was a spin out at 25 cents, went to $10. ARWY is a spin out at 25 cents. It hit a high of $3. Who knows what's next?
Will other spinouts be faster than ARWY? I think he's asking. Did it take? I don't think ARWY was slow. I think
no, it was not slow.
I don't think that was a slow process.
You can't go much faster.
Yeah, actually, I was very surprised. I actually was surprised it happened that fast. I was shocked because usually things take a lot longer. I guess he's asking. Okay, so will it be faster because now that you're aware of how?
Yeah, I mean, it can go 30 days faster. It's not going to be half, so a little bit.
Okay. I think we've covered all the questions. Let's wrap up finally. Okay, bottom line is things are looking very exciting for 23. Key takeaway. Okay, what's your, we keep talking about stuff in the near term, but can you talk about what's your vision? If it's possible, where do you see NexTech like 3 years from now? Like, what could this company become? Where do you see this? Because obviously you're working with you have a vision for this business.
So as mentioned, I see us being the 3D model supplier for the entire $5.5 trillion e-com ecosystem. I see every major retailer, Walmart, Target, Amazon, all those merchants buying 3D models from our AI driven platform. I see ARWay disrupting the indoor wayfinding market and our 3D models being imported into the ARWay platform. I see the events industry being disrupted with our event tech platform and indoor wayfinding. And so all of this creates a kind of an ecosystem that's being driven by NexTech, the parent company, where we might own stakes in these spin-offs that could be worth hundreds of millions or potentially billions of dollars, and we kind of ride into the sunset, Jack.
I mean, is that the path for the stock to be, potentially $10 plus, basically?
Look, if one of our spin-outs, let's just say, happens to become $1 billion company and we own half of that, that's a $5 stock. If we have 3 of those or 4 of those, that doesn't even include the 3D modeling business, right? So, I mean, look, anything's possible. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying that the possibility is there. I'm saying that we're in the middle of a mega trend that's really just starting, and we're going to ride the wave. And you just don't know how big, it can get. You don't know how big it can go. I mean, cloud computing wasn't even a thing 10
Right.
years ago.
People were buying, it's interesting. We talk about the thing. So with Amazon, people were investing in Amazon. They were buying Amazon. They weren't making a bet on cloud, and cloud could be even bigger.
Yeah, and look at Microsoft, same thing. It's now
bigger.
Azure. I mean, so tech companies are notorious in a good way for developing new tech that becomes bigger even than the old tech. And, it's like next generation stuff. So, 3D models is the next generation of e-commerce. Everybody should know that by now. And that's what we do for a living. We'll leave it at that, Jack.
All right. Evan, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you all on the next live stream.
Thanks.